Well, welcome back to a Quack-A-Lot Walk video. Today we are talking about the best Uber vehicles to buy. Now, we're not just being general here. We're not being like, oh, well, you should buy the Camry because it's a good car. We're going to go into specific categories, specifically 4 of them, the 4 most popular ones, and the 4 most that are the most popular, that you're going to get the most drivers, the most passengers, but also the most drivers, and also the ones that people are going to want to pay for the most. Like, I've left out Uber Black and Uber Black SUV because that's just stupid. Who would want to pay more for a black car? Like, we get that it's supposed to be like luxurious, but I think that's the only redeeming quality of the thing. And also, you don't really get paid that much more for taking customers in those categories. So no Uber Black and no Uber Black SUV. We will be covering the best cars for the Uber X. We have 3 cars for that. Uber XL, 3 cars for that, since those are the 2 most popular categories on Uber. The Uber Green, which is kind of niche, so we only have 1 car for that. And then the Uber Comfort, which is also kind of niche, but still in the range, so we've got 1 car for that as well. With that, let's get into Uber X. Uber X is basically just any car with 4 doors that can fit up to, I believe, 3 people and carry some luggage. Now, the idea isn't that you buy a car just for Ubering, it's more that you buy your everyday car that can also be an Uber for when you need it to. Because you're not like a taxi driver where you're buying it just specifically for this case. So these cars are not only going to be nice to ride in the back of and have, plenty of cargo room, which is important, and, a nice interior, that way they rate you well, because ratings are important. It's also so that when you're driving it, you're not, like, sitting cramped and uncomfortable and, your back is wrenched and you're just like, I hate my job. A comfortable car as well. So without further ado, let's begin. The Toyota Prius is like the poster child for all taxis and Ubers, and especially the Uber X. Priuses are great for driving in the taxi industry because of their fuel mileage, but there's a few areas where it doesn't really do fantastic. First of all, cargo area. Now, it has a big trunk, but it's not, great. It's very long, but it's not very tall, and that can be an issue for a passenger with lots of luggage, which you might have to stand vertically. And also, the legroom in the back isn't really fantastic. I would opt for a pre-facelifted Toyota Prius V. Now, this is for a few reasons. First of all, believe it or not, it's built on a different platform for the Toyota Prius. It's built on the Toyota Corolla's platform, but a little bit longer. That's important because you get more legroom in the rear, you get more space, and the way that it drives is significantly different. You have a tighter turning circle, it feels more maneuverable, and most importantly, it has a nice chunky butt so that you can fit all the crap into it. And when I say trunk space, I mean trunk space. For Uber X, trunk space is super important because you are going to have people literally from all over the world, some casual rides just driving around town, but a lot of them will have luggage. You're going to need a big boot. And the extra gigantic back of the Toyota Prius V is phenomenal for holding whatever you need back there. You can even put your own personal grocery shopping in there, put a little divider, and still use it as an Uber X and pick up a ride on your way home from the grocery store. It also came in, luxurious leather, so while it's not required by Uber to have a nicer car, it's nice to have a nicer car because people will, review it better. If you just have a Ford Escort from the 1980s, which wouldn't even qualify, but let's pretend like it did. Sure, you'd be allowed to use it, but how would your ratings be? They'd be like, oh, this car sucks and it's cramped. This car, plenty of legroom, plenty of space, and most importantly, a nice, big, and luxurious on some models, usually the 4 or 5s, with leather interior and just a great interior overall. Now, there's a few things that make this interior specifically great for Ubering. First of all, on the steering wheel, you have controls for the audio volume, what channel you're listening to, so you can, change the song or change the radio station, and the temperature. So if the driver, the passenger's in the back, you're not going to have to look away from the road, maybe get distracted, swerve a little bit, and they go, and then they give you a terrible rating in your rating tanks. It's a very nice car, and since the controls are on the steering wheel, same with the phone controls, you can quickly end a call, and you don't really have to stay distracted from the road. There's also 3 vents in the middle. Now, it looks ugly. It looks a little bit weird, but you may not realize why exactly that's beneficial. In these cars, a lot of times with these smaller cars, which is really what you're going to want to buy, because no one's looking to spend $40,000 on an Uber X car. They're going to want to get something with higher quality riders. Something that people don't consider is there's often not any ventilation to the rear seats. And on a hot day, if you're sitting in the back of this boiling hot car and the driver is doing all he can do, but that's not going to be good. With the 3 vents, you can sit in the car, even have a passenger with you, and still have 1 vent, because remember, the air is the strongest up there in the middle vents to shoot directly into the passenger seat. That helps the back seat, that middle vent there, and even the passenger side middle vent, you can just shoot those directly into the back and still have one vent for yourself, so you don't really have to worry about them. You can also do that with the side vents. And there's also just a lot of storage in here. You can see there's even a little bag carrier underneath there. So this is a car that you can, like, generally use every single day, have your crap in, just use. There's plenty of storage. There's dual glove boxes in the front that you can use without, get into my car but move all my crap around so that you find a place to sit. You can still have a decent Uber vehicle while still, driving the car that you own. One last thing I forgot to mention, this thing's visibility is fantastic around the front. I mean, it's great. Those little quarter windows up there, meh. When I drive a Prius V, and I just drove one, which is why I put it on this list, because I wanted to see what it was like, and my friend just happened to buy one, thanks to my advice, of course. And I looked around, I'm like, wow, it's like I'm in a big glass tube, and it doesn't really bake you in the summer all that much, although it's winter here in Florida, if you can even call it that. But yeah, it's pretty nice, and the visibility is great, it's easy to maneuver, love it. And the most important part, these are super cheap. You can find them for like $10,000, $12,000, maybe $15,000, but I would get like a 2014 and onward, since those other ones may not qualify for UberX in the city that you're in. But yeah, these guys are super cheap. Now, it doesn't have dual zone climate control, but it's luxurious enough for you and your passengers, and you're not going to hate driving it. So, fantastic UberX car. Number 2 is just the straight Prius. I think the Prius V is better than the Prius, but if you don't want a Prius V, this Prius is better. Now, the reason why is because you want a modern Prius. The third generation Prius, which is like the iconic, like the thing that you think of when you think of a Prius, but the 2010s version, not the old one, is fine, but it's aging. I own it. It's not fantastic. The interior's It's crappy. It's got a shit interior. I love the car to death. I think it's one of the best cars Toyota's ever made, but the interior is shit. For this car, it's great, though. You want to know why? Because this has all the same parts as a 2021 Toyota Prius, but not only is this earlier, but no one wants it because it's ugly. And you're underestimating. The price for these is like $15,000. These are in the same range with the 2015 Prius, and yet it's a significant jump in quality because everyone thought, that looks so weird, that's hideous, I don't want to buy that, and they just didn't come with all-wheel drive, which the 2019s and onward did. So if you buy the ugly car, and the first generation of the ugly car, the car that no one wanted, you get the same interior quality as a new Prius without having to pay new Prius prices. It's like a loophole. This Prius also bumped up the legroom in the rear, so you have more legroom, but we'll get to that in a minute. The interior is so nice. This is such a driver's car. First of all, you have your own designated clock, which is up there, which you can see in the dash panel. You underestimate how nice that is, because when you're trying to drive and you have that stupid little clock in your screen that you can't get rid of, and when the screens are that small, they take up a lot of space, it's just nice to have it far away from you. The two dual screens are very nice, because on my car, it's kind of annoying, and on some cars it's really bad, where you have to, if it has manual dials next to it, of course, you have to get rid of the speedometer to look at other things. With the two screens, you could be flipping through, looking through stuff, and your speedometer never leaves you. You also have that modern, 2019 Toyota sound stereo system and climate control. It's genuinely new. Now, the interior is better in quality. It's padded, it's leather, it's nice, but it looks like shit. I mean, the steering wheel looks crappy, it looks plasticky, it looks tinny. It's just not like a classical Toyota product, but these are still fantastic. They drive great, they have new features, they have flaps in the grille that will close when you're driving at slow speeds an hour to make the car more aerodynamic if the engine doesn't need the air and the engine's off. That sounds complex. I haven't really seen them be an issue, but they are an issue that this generation has that the previous generation didn't. So if you're kind of weary of that, I then get a third generation, but seriously, the quality of these was much improved from the third generation, and again, that rear legroom, that's important. But yeah, the rear seat quality was fantastic. You got leather back there. They were pretty nice. The only feature that this car doesn't have, which the 2019 had, was rear USB-C ports, but you can just plug a cable in that has multiple ends and then run it back there. So it's not that big of a deal. Also, do you really want people plugging stuff in? They're cheap little, Amazon wires that explode your car, because they bought them off of Alibaba. Do you really want people dealing with stuff in your car? I just say to hell with it. Just put my cable back there. Yeah, very nice cars. Exterior, in rear seat, much better than third generation, and there's also less of a hump in the floor. So yeah, love these, and they withstand great. These interiors on these, I've never seen one of these that looks like it's been through hell and back. So now, what can you expect to pay for it? Like $12,000 to $15,000, and that is extremely reasonable for a car that shares a lot of the parts with a 2021 Toyota Prius, which is not that far away. So you want to know what? It's decently expensive for a Prius of its age. You can also get newer. You can get up to, I think, like 2018 for this generation, this model year. Even further, I think it was like 2019 was when they made the switch. They're fantastic, and I think it's definitely worth the money. And also, another thing you have to consider with hybrids, which is what makes them so great, is the engines don't wear down as quickly because they're not always in use. You can go further without oil changes, which I know there's some mechanics. You can. Okay, let's be realistic. You don't need to be in the Toyota service department every 2 days. Okay, hybrids just need less service than regular gas cars. The electrical components in a hybrid are extremely more robust than the gas engines. They don't need oil changes. No, they're not like fully like a Tesla where you have to all you have to do is change your wiper fluid. You do have to maintain the engine, but less than you would normally. And also the engine has less wear on it. And, because the wear is split between two driving apparati, and not just, that's a weird word, apparatuses, and not just, that's even worse, apparati, then, my phone, then it just helps and makes sure that neither of them get worn too much. Where like on a gas car, if it had the same amount of miles, the engine would have been on, like the actual run hours of the engine would have been a lot higher than on a hybrid, especially at low speeds and idling and stuff like that. Alright, the Secret Sleeper. This is the best Uber car. One of the best, aside from the Prius V, because it's not a hybrid. And hybrids, really, they're the king of the taxi industry. The Toyota Venza. What is a Toyota Venza? You don't really know that. What it is imagine taking a Toyota Camry and making it a station wagon. But you lift it off the ground, you give it SUV-like styling features, a V6 and all-wheel drive, and that's what you get for here. Now, the V6 and all-wheel drive are important because the wear on an engine and the economy is really important. And the issue with hybrids is that usually their city driving, miles per gallon is higher than their highway, because on the highway it's not using the EV components, right? The engine's always on, and their small little engines are really underpowered for the cars that they are. They're still fine, but they're generally underpowered. The V6s, the bigger engines, the highway is where they excel. If you're planning to do on a lot of highway driving, a V6 or like a big 2.5 liter 5-cylinder, which they do make, especially Volvo, or 4-cylinders, they're just so much better on the highway than hybrids. So if you plan on doing a lot of hybrids, a lot of highway driving, I would get a V6. Also, the all-wheel drive, you don't need it, okay? But it's nice. On a rainy day, I don't know how to, going up a hill, going around a tight turn, pulling up from an intersection, it inspires confidence, more confidence with the V6 than the front-wheel drive variant, which I don't even think it was sold with, does. It gets around 18 city, 26 highway, and the 26 highway is really not bad once you see the interior room. That's where they get you. The interior in the Venza is like a warm hug from a relative that you've never met before, but you know that they give really good gifts. They've got black contrast piping on the leather seats in like the LE, like the base model. They've got wood in the back. You've got your own personal air vents in the back. The trunk space on this is phenomenal, and for driving it, it's really a driver's car. You have your own personal, display in the middle of the console. You have your own private gauge cluster, which that's an issue with the Prii. Everyone in the car can kind of see what you're doing. They can see your gauge cluster. If your check engine light is on and the car's telling you, hey, pull down an emergency stop because you haven't maintained me, everyone can see that. In the Venza, it's hidden away. No one can see it. The technology isn't terrible. It's got a backup camera. Now, the only thing that I'd watch out for the Toyota Venza, again, best back seat for Uber driving, best storage for Uber driving. It makes it look diminished over the video. In real life, it is huge. It is impressively large. This is the best back seat car for Uber driving ever. The only issue is the first generation, which is the one that you want. The second generation, they were fine, but not really for Uber driving because they started in 2021 and they're $30,000. These, however, they were only made up until 2015, which is kind of a problem. Because for UberX, there is a regulation where it has to be newer than 15 years old. So you probably have another 5 years with the car until, they come knocking. They're like, hey, But again, in 5 years, how much will things change? You know what I mean? And are they really going to kick you off? You can just say it's a 2016. I don't think they'd really kick you off, but it is towards the end of the bandwidth for supported cars for UberX, and they don't really sell a newer one. Like with the Prius V, you can just bump up and get the facelifted model, and then you'll be fine. With this, they just stopped making it, so that's something to watch out for. Anyway, you can attain a V6 all-wheel drive for $12,000 to $15,000. Again, a very good price for a Toyota Camry. This car will do 1 million miles. I bet you it will. They're so comfortable, they're reliable, they've got the reliability of a Camry with all the benefits of an SUV. Toyota really cracked the code on this one, and it would make an excellent UberX vehicle. And an excellent vehicle. You put your passengers in the back of there, they love it. You got space for the whole family, enough room. I'm going to stop blabbering now. On to Uber XL. The 2015 Toyota Sienna is the best car for Uber XL. And it's just so intuitive. This car is so well built that a bicycle can ram into the side of the door, can drive up the hood all the way until the moonroof, right, and all that stuff, and the car will hold. This car is one of the most durable cars I have ever seen. You should see what families put these things through on the everyday, and they are designed so intuitively to be able to be driven for as long as a Camry, as tough as a Camry, if not tougher, and just going and going and going and going and going. And the best part about the Sienna, that the Odyssey, what the Chrysler vans could never get, is all-wheel drive. This thing is all-wheel drive. I know I'm talking about the all-wheel drive, but if you live in, like, Chicago, or like I was just up in Ohio, like Cleveland, it snows there a lot. And the all-wheel drive, I'm not saying you always need all-wheel drive. It's like mucking around in snow boots every year. Jeremy Clarkson said that about caravans. You don't really need all-wheel drive. But it's nice. If you're pulling away from a stoplight, you can just do a four-wheel peel straight out of there. If you're going around a tight turn, it just holds the vehicle that much better, that much closer to the road. And in snow, you need it. I mean, you really do. And sometimes you just need it. I mean, snow chains can only get you so far in a front-wheel drive Camry. This thing, it's great. It also has fog lights, and it has just small little features. For example, in the 2012 through 2021 Toyota Siennas, the rear wiper, guess where it is? Notice that this car is entirely flat. The back of it is flat. There is no ridges, there's no indentation, and there's actually no rear wiper. Is what someone that is lying would say. The rear wiper is hidden underneath that little, you see that thing with the third brake light all the way up there? It's hidden under there. Now that doesn't sound nice until you realize you don't have to clean the damn thing off. And the best part, how you win is, because I've been in the snow belt recently, and it's bad. And I grew up in Oregon, and that was bad too. And these vans never had ice on the rear windows. You never have to clean off the ice windows. Snow on the rear windows. You want to know why? Because it's completely flat, what is the snow going to stick to? Usually, when you have snow build up on the back of your rear window, it builds up on your stupid little rear wiper that doesn't do anything, that just sits there. And it builds up like the wall of China that you have to clean off, and then it ices over and it sucks. With this car, the ice hits it just slides straight down the back. There's nothing for it to grab onto. So not only do you not have to clean off the rear wiper, you don't even have to clean off the rear window. And I don't think you realize how nice that is in the snow belt. And it's something that I knew about it, but I didn't think about it in terms of the snow. And trust me, at like 5 o'clock in the morning when you're getting ready to start, and you're just cleaning off your car, and oh no, it iced over and I have to go with my stupid little snow scraper, it's a little bit more time saved, a little bit more time that you have to save until, you get in that warm car, just that little bit. It makes the difference. And it shows, and it doesn't only show that it's not about the rear wiper and the lack of the snow. Like, that's fine. It's, if they built the rear wiper of this car that way, how do you think they built the rest of the car? What does that tell you about them? That tells you that this car was made by thinking people that were using their brains, and they applied that to other aspects of the car too. And when you buy it, trust me, you'll find out for yourself. Now, there is one difference you should know, is that this van looks the same as the other one, but it's not. The difference comes in the 2015 model year between the 2014 Sienna and the 2015. And the difference is in the interior. The interior on the left is the new interior. The interior on the right is the old interior for the 2014. Now, I actually prefer the steering wheel for the old one, but because you put your hand at the bottom of there and you can hold it on the highway, unlike the new stupid one, which is a 3-spoke, which means it has that stupid spoke, so you can't put your hand down there. You need to have it awkwardly to the side, running into the personal preference. Anyway, the big difference here is the infotainment system. The old Toyota infotainment system aged like wine, except instead of wine, it was a bottle of grape juice with no lid that sat in the back of your closet because you'd thought it turned into wine. It didn't age well. It's crappy. It's not great. In fact, I'd rather have a Toyota radio than a Toyota screen from that era. Also, the navigation screens were not incredibly common back then. I mean, even the XLEs on the 2014s still had a standard radio. You have a much higher chance. I think you have a 100% chance of getting a screen in the new Sienna, the 2015 interior. I also think the 2015 interior just looks nicer. It's more intuitive, and they didn't really change anything except for the interior, just to give it a little refresh. I prefer the interior. I think that the one that looks the nicest is the new one, the new one, the 2015. But I do think that while riding in it, I do prefer the 2012's interior because it just feels more luxurious, but it's really up to you. But that's a difference there. And also, because there's no change on the exterior of the car, there's really no price difference here. You can expect to pay around like $13,000 to $15,000. I've been saying that a lot. And $17,000 if you want the all-wheel drive. Because, I mean, come on, it's an all-wheel drive van. People are just grasping at straws here to get anything nice nowadays that isn't going to break down, like the new Kia Carnival piece of crap. Also, it's a minivan. I don't think I had to say that, but yeah, it has a third row, it has plenty of storage space, it has everything that you'd want a minivan to have, and some of the nicer ones even have like captain's chairs with reclining seats that have a footstool that comes out. These are pretty neat cars. I'm just gonna put the subtext in there. They're pretty neat, and you should like get one if you're doing Uber driving or any driving at all. The 2016 Honda Odyssey Elite. This car is cheap because it's pretty old. It's like, I would say $20,000 to $15,000 just because of how nice it is. You get a lot of features, you get nice rims, it's a classic Honda Odyssey. I'm very familiar with it, so I don't think there's a lot I need to say. It's extremely reliable, it's very nice, it's got a good 6-speed transmission, and the transmission is what's going to get you here. If you buy an Elite, do not buy a car that's newer than 2018 on the Odysseys, and I'll explain why with the next one. You know, let's keep talking about this one first. The interior is reliable, dependable, but nothing to write home about. It's luxurious for the guests in back. You've got all the crazy features that you could ever want out of a Honda Odyssey. It's very nice to drives like a sedan. I mean, again, it's just a fantastic minivan. No all-wheel drive, though, but still good. I would get an Elite from this era because it's a used car. Why get the shitty trim of something when the nice trim costs about the same? So definitely get the Elite instead of the cheaper models, because if you're going to spend this much on a car, why not pay the extra $1,000 to $500 to get the top trim level when it gives you so much? You get rear end seat infotainment, you get heated leather front seats, you get a lot of stuff that you're going to want if you're going to become an Uber driver. Again, you can expect to pay $15,000 to $23,000 because, again, these get pretty expensive really, really quickly. Now, this is where the Honda Odyssey specificity comes in. The 2018, you want to get the LX. First of all, because it's the base model, and I mean the base model. This thing has manual rear doors, which is, for Ubering, kind of annoying, but, and cloth seats and all that base stuff. But this is the most reliable van you will ever have. This van will go no matter what you do to it. And I'm saying right now that for an Uber, you getting out of the car and opening the door, or them opening the door, which they usually do anyways, and they're pretty light doors, is worth it to get the base trim level because they last forever. And this will drive 1,000,000 miles. This is the last good Honda Odyssey. Now, I hear what you're thinking. Well, I got an Elite, why not get an Elite of this generation? No! It comes down to the transmission. This had a 6-speed transmission. The same transmission that was in the old Elite that we just looked at, the year earlier Elite. For this new year, this 2018 model year, they introduced a new 9-speed on the Touring and Elite models. That thing is radioactive. That is like a Nissan Jatco CVT. You want to stay 1,000,000,000 miles away from that thing. That is the worst piece of single engineering Honda has ever made. Those things fail so often. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's just insane how bad they are. They are radioactive. Stay away from them. I've had personal experiences of people say, oh, I just got this brand new Honda Odyssey. It's 2018, and the transmission fails. These fail like Kias. Do not you dare buy a Honda Odyssey Elite or Touring from the 2018 and on. And after they removed the 9-speed and made a 10-speed, which is fine. They just made it gaudy and ugly with a huge chrome bar. No one wants that. Just don't buy it. Just don't buy it. It's that simple. Now, it's also newer, which means it's going to last about 2 years longer than the 2016 will. So, this thing will genuinely last forever. Now, it's only got single-zone climate control for the front. It's still got the independent climate control for the rear. And your Uber passengers are not going to notice that much. And the best thing, I really cannot stress enough the durability. This is the end of Honda durability. This is like the last great Odyssey they made. The 2010 Odyssey LXs, those were used for daycare vans. Those were running Steelies. They were running on diesel. They were running on kitchen grease. And those minivans, our minivan, would still run no matter what we did to that thing. And that thing died the second they introduced that 9-speed transmission and everything went to shit. It's the last durable Honda Odyssey. They're fine. They're fine. They're fine. Let's be realistic. You can get one and get away with it. But I personally wouldn't. I think the LX is worth it. And also, because it's an LX, they're like $20,000 to $21,000, which is fantastic for a 2018 Honda Odyssey. That's only like 7 years old. With the price of everything, you'd be shocked to find out how much they're like $50,000, okay? So count your blessings, okay? When I say that this is cheap, you're like, $18,000, that's so expensive. Tell me about it. The Polestar 2 as the green Uber. Now, this is a very strategic choice, and I don't think this is like the perfect EV For one reason, it's depreciated. It has dropped like a stone from its original like $50,000-$60,000 price tag, and it still has that all nice Volvo luxuriousness to it. But also, like the other EVs that have dropped, like the stupid Mazda MX-30 or the Toyota BZ4X, just crappy EVs, this one's actually not crap. For the single-motor front-wheel drive model, it had an EPA estimated range of 270 miles, and that's 2022. This is only 3 years old. The best part is, you can get these in the $20,000 range. It's really not that strange to see the single-motor long-range ones. Again, 270 miles, that's in Tesla range, and it's like an average gas car that gets like 18 miles to the gallon. To see that for like $20,000, that's pretty good. Now, they're usually 20 to 25, but trust me, you can find them for $21,000, $20,000, and, $23,000. That's like the range where they like to sit. And also, for the same money, because Tesla is a popular car company, I mean, you probably didn't even know what a Polestar was, or you had only heard of one once. Because this is such like a weird fringe car company, if you were to buy a Tesla Model 3, it'd be from 2017, and it would have 320 miles of range, which is more, but think of battery degradation and the difference between the 2 years. This one is obviously the clear winner for Uber driving, and it's an EV, and it's a reliable EV, and that's important. These are also excellent driver's cars. It's got the luxuriousness of a Volvo. I mean, Volvo really helped them out here with the interior and stuff, and you can clearly tell that it's very high quality. These cars have great just range, great interiors, great rear cargo space, and the best part is, unlike a traditional sedan, the entire back hatch opens up, so it's easier to fit big items in the back, which is important, again, because if you're, order an Uber driver, you order one from the factory. No, you, call one on the app, they get there, and you put your crap in the back, and it doesn't fit. Ooh, that's not such a good rating now, is it? For Uber comfort, the Lexus RX 350H. The H stands for hybrid. This is another strategic choice. You have plenty of room in the back, and also, this is what you have to be careful about. You cannot just buy any luxury car, like a Volvo S80 V8, and say, oh, well, this is, it's a comfort. There's actually a specific list of cars allowed by Uber, and as much as I can confirm via forums and stuff, this car is on that list. And the hybrid is nice, because, well, it's a big SUV, and it doesn't have a third row, which I love to gripe about. It's still a plenty reliable car, and the hybrid helps out with the gas mileage. Not to, it's not going to blow you away. Wow, the car gets 90 miles per gallon. Not like that, but it's pretty okay. Alright, so the miles per gallon for this is around 31 city, 28 highway. And the, base all-wheel drive version has 19 city, 26 highway. So you even get a bump in the highway. And this is a V6 hybrid. No dainty little four-cylinder trying to run this big car. Its engine is appropriately sized, which I appreciate from Toyota, considering they don't even put V6s in the Land Cruiser anymore. This also has all-wheel drive, unlike some other hybrid SUVs that comes to mind. It's a fantastic car. It's great. Now, here comes the price. If you want to get a rougher one, which is fine, you can just swap some bits out. The powertrain in this is very good. Again, the engine wear is not really a problem, but the interiors with these, they get kind of rough sometimes. So, on the lower end, you're looking at $23,000 to about $25,000. Which, for a luxury hybrid all-wheel drive SUV, bringing out the full government name here, and this is for the Lexus RX 450H, which is the base H model, which again, what even is a trim level on a Lexus? They're all nice, it doesn't matter. Yeah, for the rougher ones, it's pretty good range. For the more expensive ones, like the nicer ones, the ones that have been well pristine, the ones with 30 to 50,000 miles on them, which is, again, since the engine's not being run that much, very little miles for a car that can go as hard as this thing can, and for as long as this thing can, is around 31 to 35,000. That's a lot, but again, it is for Uber comfort, and this makes a regular everyday life vehicle for you too. I really don't see Uber comfort as being worth it. You don't get paid that much more, people don't pay you that much more, Uber doesn't pay you that much more, and the car that you're buying is really more expensive than I think it really needs to be, So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what Ubers you would buy. And also, what would you like to see on the list? And if there's any Uber drivers out there, tell me how I did. I did make sure that all these would be compatible. I'm not going to be like, oh, for the Uber X in 1997 Geo Metro. And I am familiar with Uber driving. I actually I looked into it for myself when I was in college. It's fine. It's fine when I was in college. Now that I'm in college, when I first started college, I looked into it, and, it's kind of fun. Also, I can already hear the age comments right now. I can hear them pouring in, okay? My voice deceives me. But yeah. It's a nice car. It's a fantastic car. I think all the cars on this list are good. But if you take anything away from this video, remember that every single Honda Odyssey Elite, every single Honda Odyssey that is not an LX or an EX or an EXL with the 9-speed automatic from the years 2018 and onwards is a steaming pile of plastic, gaudy garbage. Don't buy it. Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to talk because the intro, and I already pre-cut the video for 30 minutes, and it's not like mid-roll ads or anything. You probably already clicked off. Alright, goodbye, I should probably end this, but I don't want to trim the video down. I've been too ambitious with how much I needed for this segment, so I'm just going to keep talking. Alright, goodbye! This is my time to leave now. Goodbye.